Hello, my name is Captain Cash the Stampede. Welcome, and did you know that you are doing the Seasonal 4 boss fight wrong? Yep, you are, because I know that I am. At least I was until this weekend went by. So shout out to the Skull and Bones subreddit. Yes, they do complain about the game quite a bit when things are going wrong, but the shiniest of nuggets can be found in there when you need a little bit of information. So I definitely recommend checking them out. Now, the mechanics of this fight essentially are pretty straightforward. There is a tainted effect that the boss will charge up and burn every ship around you. Likely the reason most of you are staying away from the level 16 fight, because I think the burn rate in that fight is way worse than the level 13 fight. But then also you have the barrier bubbles that are popping up from the buoys. Those bubbles that are produced from the buoys are actually for us, not for the boss. Yes, Vikram will put one up around the Shadow once he begins to charge that tainted attack and release it on us, burning our ships into absolute oblivion. But the thing is that whole deployment of buoys he does before that, that's for us. It's just a mechanic that's designed to protect us during that wave. It's almost like something you would see in a raid, if I'm being completely honest. But what you're supposed to do is pop the bubbles, stay in there, and then when the wave of tainted energy goes by you, you won't be affected by it, and then you can just sail out and get back into the fight. If you're sailing too fast and you aren't able to stop, in time, just run into the buoy. It won't destroy it, but it will slow you down. You can drop anchor, adjust your ship so that you can blow up the buoy, and then again, wait in there for the tainted effect to pass you by. And fun fact, you don't even have to 100% be inside of the bubble to get the protection. You can have half your ship. As best I can tell, you can have about a quarter of your ship inside of the bubble, and you still will not be affected by the tainted wave. If you were only able to get like a nose of your ship, like barely the tip of the nose or the tail of the stern in there, you might still get affected, so I did want to point that out. But I completely missed this. I kept thinking that they were made for the boss, or at worst, that they were made to hurt us when we were inside of them. So I just largely stayed away from them, probably what most of you are doing. So whoever jumped in there and figured that out, hey man, you are a hero this season, because Captain, you have saved us all. Now, this, again, as I mentioned, translates to the level 16 boss fight. So yes, the same thing happens right before Vikram charges up the tainted effect. You'll see a bubble go around him, and you'll see him deploy a bunch of buoys, do just what I mentioned, and you'll be okay. Now, if you are in a situation to where there are no buoys around, or you're not close enough to get into one, you have two options. One is what a lot of you have been putting into the chat in the subreddit, is just to stay outside of the range of the effect. That's totally possible. You'll see it if you happen to, sail away. You'll see that energy. It only extends so far, and it just starts to fade away. It's hard to say how far that is. If I was a betting man, I'd say it's somewhere around 300 to 500 meters away from the ship. Normally, games like to, use nice whole numbers for stuff like this. And you'll see 300 and 500 in the game a lot for weapons. So I'm just honestly basing it on this. But stay far enough away from it, and you won't be tainted by it at all, and you can just come back and attack. Or you can use restoration kits. Now, I did a video that I'll put a link on the top right now, so you can check it out, and it'll be at the end of this video as well. But there are kits that you can use that will remove the status effect of anything that you get in the game. They're called restoration kits. It says they're called mending kits, which may trick you into thinking that they augment your health in some way, but nope. They remove ablazed, electrified, torn sails, flooded, tainted, taunted, and I feel like there's piercing is another one that I think that we have too, but removes them instantly. So if you aren't by a bubble and you are within range of this and you get yourself tainted, all you have to do is pop a restoration kit and you're good to go. Where do you get restoration kits? Well, if I was willing to bet, you might have some in your warehouse already. Go into your inventory and go all the way to the very bottom of the list. You should see a green box of restoration kits just sitting there piling up dust. Grab a couple of those, keep them on your ship. Make sure you add them to your quick wheel because that's going to make life a lot easier for you. But that's where you should have some already stockpiled. If you don't, go to our main vendors inside of Talak Penjara and St. Anne, Lake Omasi, and man, I forget the one that we have at the other location. But these two will have them available, same location at the bottom of their inventory for purchase. And the final way to protect yourself against the tainted wave is to, well, create your own barriers. Yeah, this week, if you did finish all of the story missions for the opener of the season, you actually got a blueprint for the Blight Keeper. This will allow you to throw out buoys on your own and they just instantly create a barrier. You don't have to destroy them or anything weird like you have to do with Vikrams. You're just creating on-demand bubbles to protect you during this fight. Also, I wanted to go over what I think is going on with those towers during the level 16 version of this fight. If I am wrong, jump into the comments and let me know because I want to make sure we're all on the same page about this. Now, during both encounters, the level 13 and level 16 fights, you will see the orange barrier we discussed that Vikram will protect himself and the Shadu with when he's charging up the tainted attack. But during the level 16 version of this, you're going to see a yellow health bar fill up over time. This is armor that's being powered by the towers that have emerged from the exterior or edges of the fight. You will see them right around the time the armor starts to fill up, and at least from what I can tell, the idea is that if we take these out, we will have an easier time removing the armor from Vikram, allowing us to continue to do actual DPS to the ship. Again, if I am wrong and I'm reading into this incorrectly, just jump into the comments and I will pin the correct answer up top. But this is sort of what I felt like I was seeing when I watched back the footage. I also noticed that the boss was taking direct damage even though the armor was up. I'm not sure what that's about. I'm not sure if that happens from us taking out the towers or attacking the towers directly, or could the new piercing status effect that we have, because that is supposedly, strong against barriers and maybe even potentially strong against armor in this situation. So I'm not sure if that's what's happening there. Again, I would love your help if you happen to have anything to help clear this up. But other than that, I think that is going to do it. So again, jump to the comments if you have anything to help. Jump into the comments if you have any questions that you need help with, and we will do what we can to answer them. I have been Captain Cash the Stampede. As always, I'll see you out in the seas.